Welcome back, everybody. We are here at the LCK. Joining us for our second match, it will be Griffin up against APK Prince. Once again, it's me, Valdez, with LS. And we had a long break. We had some food, some relaxation, even though we had a bit of that in the first set. But what do you think? What are you thinking, LS? What do you
really
got to
dropped
say?
the ball right there.
What do you got to say? Seems like you have a lot on your mind, so maybe you could...
I got a lot to say.
Yeah,
you know?
I know.
That's what I gotta... Well, okay. Griffin versus APK. This is going to be a real evaluation, I think, for both of these teams in a way. Griffin obviously failing to win some of their games despite having found themselves in really good spots, but also APK, where are they really stacking up in the LCK?
Yeah.
That's what is going to be the big question here today. If Griffin ends up losing this.
That is definitely a big question on a lot of people's minds. Can Griffin actually lose this? And can APK actually show us more than what they've showed us already, which is not a whole lot. I think they've been slowly getting better and better, but I think there is still a small gap between them and the bottom teams of the LCK. Although, I'm always up for being proven wrong on that idea. As we are going to take a look at some of the points of the match. First off, from this one, from Griffin versus APK. Griffin is warmed up, and APK still has to get it started. But who is going to be on the bottom after this matchup is the real question.
And then also UCal saving his team from the losing streak. That's obviously a really big point. UCal is one of the best mid laners in the entire league, so definitely nice to see him coming in here on Griffin. A little surprising, to be honest, that they don't just field UCal and Nahyun and just have Nahyun go top lane or have UCal go top lane with Nahyun. That's very surprising for me.
Is that an LS move? Is that what you would do?
That is a likely solution.
A likely solution. Oh, I see.
APK,
you know,
yeah.
I don't disagree with you putting pressure on some of the players that are quote-unquote veterans of the team to play better when they're not playing so well. Namely, Sword is who I'm talking about. By, you know, kicking them out of the lineup just to put a fire under their butt, if you know what I'm talking about, to get them riled up and practicing and trying to play better. Maybe that's the way to do it. And especially in this day and age where mid and top laners can kind of be interchangeable.
And the last point in regards to Trigger and Mia actually getting a win and then being immediately subbed out makes no sense. I have no idea. I have absolutely no clue what is up with that.
It's definitely a question. Hopefully that doesn't happen today. But guys, let's take a look at some team stats for Griffin versus APK. First thing to notice is that Griffin, this is not the Griffin of last year where they crushed the regular seasons and then had trouble in playoffs, but they would always have an amazing regular season record. No, they're starting off 1-2 with their new lineup. And apparently these two teams both have top first straight percentage in the LCK, which is kind of funny. But we're going to take a look at some of the highlights between these two teams.
Yeah. Griffin finding a team fight win here against Sandbox, who into those core. That was the really big throw. And here, UCal with his Kiana performance, able to find so many. I believe this was the 006 Kiana game, right? Where he
I think so.
Got the MVP.
And then he
got
there
this
it is. One. Yep. Hello.
Yeah. A little bit of knock up. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. You know.
Yeah. And he really was the savior. You know, he came in on that Varus. But this is another thing to talk about. The Morgana Pike coming in. Mia having a great game. And
Mia, he played so well on that Pike. And I think it really only been outdone by Kyria's Pike performance. Which I think is the best Pike performance I've ever seen in a competitive game.
You know, it's definitely up there, for sure. And then Mia and Trigger afterwards get punished by being subbed out, which is an interesting question. You know, you can say from a coach's point of view, hey, it's early on in the split. You know, we want to get a lot of our players stage practice so that they could possibly be ready in the future. So that would really be the only reason I would imagine why you would sub out like that. But it did end up costing them a little bit, as we're going to take a look at some key players here.
It's always my favorite. 12.
Yeah. 10 teams, but you're 12. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, hopefully he doesn't know, and it doesn't affect him. As he's also 10th on kill participation, but again, I mean, he's on a team that's in 10th and struggle to look as if they're on the level of LCK just yet. So don't let the numbers fool you too much. Hopefully Hybrid can come back and do a bit better.
Well, we'll see what they have in store here today. Again, really surprised that they're not just starting Trigger and Mia.
I don't know. It's like after that performance, they're like, no, we gotta save this. We're not gonna show you guys any more of this. Like,
it's
not
just
allowed.
it is very perplexing. And the fortunate thing for APK today is they are gonna have counterpick. They're starting on the red side.
But, you know, it's like that idea where knowledge truly is power. Like, you can have the opportunity, but if you don't know what to do with it, it's like you don't even have the opportunity anyway.
Like in our last series.
Yeah, exactly. You have the perfect opportunity to counterpick your opposing team that kind of showed their comp face up, and then you just don't. That's it's not the way you want to do it. Hopefully they can figure it out today.
As APK sitting down, as well as Griffin. We'll see if anything interesting is going to come out onto the Rift here today. Take a look at the team that is Griffin starting today. Iroh, Viper, UCal, Tarzan. And will he be Tarzan or George? Which one is showing up today?
Yeah. I love that, by the way. I don't know if you came up with that, but that's really funny.
George
to me,
of the
George.
jungle.
And then you just call him George the whole time. Like,
it's either Tarzan
Korean
or
kid,
George.
his name is George.
There's like two sides to
Playing
a coin.
jungle.
Yeah. I mean,
and when
we're
he's
gonna
Tarzan,
find out.
You don't even call him the king of the jungle. You just call him Tarzan. Like,
Yeah, Tarzan.
I mean, Tarzan is the king of the jungle, but, you know, it's like
yeah.
not much of a contrast to George.
APK, Ixu, Flawless, Keeny. Or
I think it's
Kaney. Yeah. Kaney. We got a romanization.
You know, it's game 4 of APK.
Yeah.
With Kaney in the lineup. Just this is your 4th chance. Your fourth opportunity now.
You're gonna go there.
The pressure's on.
Oh, okay. I'll see you next time T1 plays. SKT.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. You and Atlas.
I still have that. Yeah, that's true. Okay. All right. I see. All right.
Oh man.
Well, I mean, yeah, you have a plethora of other naming issues, but we're not going to get into that.
What is that supposed to be?
Maybe we can have an opportunity to look into more
Yeah.
of that here in the draft.
Yeah, let's take a look if Aatrox is gonna.
Irelia? Yeah, that's my favorite. Often goes underappreciated by the Twitch chat though. Whenever you say Irelia.
You mean Irelia?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is quite interesting, yes.
I don't see her too much nowadays. As Pantheon, it feels like slowly but surely, Pantheon is climbing the ranks of champions here in the LCK, at least. I believe currently, let me take a look. BDD played it once last time, so now it's 6-1 here in the LCK after getting an extra win. But the true champion, Soraka, is banned alongside Aphelios, another guy who has a really high win rate.
And I like seeing that Soraka is finally getting the attention that she deserves. And even if it does mean that she's getting banned out. As Griffin banning away Rumble last, Set and Aphelios with the last 2 bans of APK. All right, we're off to a great start here.
This is good.
Sword has found his champion.
This is what drafting could look like.
B1 Ornn is quite good. Now, APK, what are they going to do here? Probably going to be AD carry coupled with a jungler. So, Misfortune being picked up, and the traditional response so far in Korea has often been to just meet it with Xayah when Aphelios is banned away. Obviously, we've had some Kallistas and things of that nature, but maybe they just, okay, well, Olaf being hovered. And so, having a champion that falls off a mountain, Ornn's mountain, in this game is a bit peculiar. So, if this game ends up going 20 minutes, not even factoring in the ornaments, APK is just fighting 4 versus 5 in most cases.
Yeah, I mean, Griffin are kind of showing that right now. They're like, we don't really want to fight. If we can scale to like level 15, 16, and above, like they are showing APK that right now. And APK is saying, okay, I'm going to shake your hand. LS's least favorite thing in the world, as he's struggling right now. You guys can't see him.
So the Braum, it doesn't do anything against the Senna and the Tahm Kench mostly, but the Ornn ultimate, it is able to block it. And so it does have that going for it.
There are a lot of vacuum picks in pro play, I'd say, where it's like, oh, this champion is good against that champion. I must pick it.
Yes.
In that sense. That happens a lot. And even in interviews, the players will say, oh, like, I remember this champion used to be strong into that champion. I'm going to pick that champion.
Yeah.
They don't think about the overall draft. They just think about normal, you know, one-on-ones or two-on-twos.
Very much like solo queue.
Yeah.
Very solo queue-esque, as APK now banning away the Jarvan Griffin, having banned away the Syndra away from APK. And right now, everyone on APK, pretty short range, bullet time, obviously, offering the long range. And on R4, they're probably going to want to just pick a top laner that is able to also be flex mid if necessary.
But please, not Renekton.
Yeah, not
Renekton.
Renekton would not be particularly good. Now, they could R4 the Gangplank against Ornn.
Ooh.
Ornn, he's a bit of a behemoth up there, though. I would say he's probably top 3 top lane champions at this point in time, as LeBlanc ends up getting banned too with the Syndra. And usually when I see this, I call it an insecure Zoe. That's what I identify that as.
Yeah. It does scream Zoe, doesn't it?
Now, obviously, the Syndra is really problematic for the Zoe, but the LeBlanc, if you're really good...
Or Kiana.
And APK, I mean, they're really just drafting straight into Ornn and Tahm Kench. We saw this just last series. Damwon were shown face up exactly what Gen G was going to do, and they just kept drafting into it.
Yeah, with the first 3 picks, by the way.
With the first 3
on
picks.
red side.
So Griffin, they just showed B1 Ornn, B2 Senna, B3 Tahm Kench, basically saying, you won't engage on us in short-range combat, and also our scaling and innate tankiness and everything is just so powerful. And APK, they respond to that with an R2 Olaf and an R4 Kiana. Is just really perplexing, as Gragas now gonna come inside of the jungle. So the Gragas gonna be in a bit of a rough vacuum jungle matchup against the Olaf, but Lucian coming in now. So the Ornn and the Lucian are flexible, but I think that there's not a planet in our solar system or universe where Sword would ever be on the Lucian and UCal the Ornn.
Yeah, I think in this specific case, I would have to agree with you. UCal, typically the more mechanically skilled player between the two. As Ixu is pulling out all the stops, he says, why not Alawi? Bringing it out here.
The thing about the APK team composition is it looks really nice, but there's quite a few problems with it.
Break it down.
All AD. It's completely all physical damage, which means Ornn can actually now build Iceborne Gauntlet, Sunfire Cape, or he could go Sunfire Cape, Thornmail. And, well, I actually don't know if that's prohibited in the LCK. I do know that Double Blade of the Ruined King, double Yumu's, Ghost Blade, etc. is banned or forbidden in other leagues, LEC and LCS.
Yeah.
But the Alawi, Kiana, and just the champions in APK's team composition, they come online at different times, which is very wonky for coordinating mid-game cohesion. And so, for the side of Griffin, Senna, Tahm Kench, Lucian, Gragas, and Ornn. So you have Blade of the Ruined King available for UCal. You have Yuma's Wraithblade available for Viper or Molten Edge. You have Zanya's Hourglass for Tarzan, which is going to be perfect against this all-AD team composition. And then Thomas, I'm not really sure what he's going to end up building. On the flip side, for APK, you have Ixu on the Alawi, Olaf in the jungle for Flawless, Kaney on the Kiana, and then Misfortune and Braum down there in the bot lane. This team has to be so far ahead at 15-20 minutes just to remain relevant, and that's not enough. They have no siege, no push, no late game outside of the Alawi and the MF, but because of the way the opponent's allowed to itemize and conduct themselves, it's not really going to be very strong either. This is Mount Everest for APK to climb.
They're climbing a big one for sure. Absolutely. Starting with that all AD. I know there's probably one guy out there who's like, but Olaf has some true damage in his kit. Well,
yeah,
it's not going to be enough. And it's nowhere near the comparison of what Gragas can do in terms of the AP that he brings into a composition with the way that people build him nowadays with the AD. And as you mentioned it, second item Zanya's is absolutely perfect.
And I think that's first Drake is Mountain. So in that regard, APK did roll really well. And the reason that I'm saying that they did roll really well is because they should be the ones that are in control initially. And so for that, they're able to get the Mountain Drake away from Griffin because every single stat matters for Griffin's team composition.
Yeah. Well, you talked about climbing a big mountain and trying to get ahead. This is one way to try to do it by going for a late invade onto the red. Check. And they do see the ward, but in they come now, slowing down Viper. Immediately heal is going to be used by the Tahm Kench. Of course, Olaf, an insane level 1 with his axes. They're going to be fighting over it, it looks like. Trying to go for a bit of a 3-on-3, but eventually they will give it away, and the late invade will be successful here by APK.
And this is a byproduct of a few things. First off, Irove skilled a point before there was any reason to actually skill a point. Had he not skilled a point, he would have been able to devour the red buff and spit it, have the patience reset, and Tarzan would have been completely comfortable to just go to his wolf camp at that point, wasting a lot of Flawless's time. That would have been really good. Also, the ward died, so there's no option to really teleport in Sword. And even if Ixu follows, there's not an Alawi tentacle that would end up following up. So if Sword would just have E level 1, that could be very disruptive. They could probably end up turning a fight if Lucian just collapsed. And so right now in mid lane, UCal doing a fantastic job at pressuring Kaney. And that's the lane that we're really going to want to pay attention to. As Alawi going to be able to win against Ornn quite handedly.
Yeah, no question there. And we do know that Ixu is going to play for lane, and this is why he did go for this pick. But you look at the side of Griffin, you were talking about how Tarzan on the Gragas versus the Olaf in a vacuum, it's not going to look great in a one-on-one, and he kind of picked himself into it. But that's all good and fine, because eventually, once it hits late game and they start team fighting, that's not really going to matter if Olaf gets ahead, you know, 10, 15 CS or even more.
Here, UCal can pull the wave. He has the one spellcaster.
But he had his passive available. He had to shoot.
So he had the one spellcaster, he can pull the wave in right here, and Kiana is only at 16 CS. So it's not an optimal time for Kiana to recall, and this is also the only timing where Flawless can realistically try to pressure UCal, where Tarzan doesn't want to be bothered with doing anything. So if UCal had just pulled in the wave, last hit, stopped using spellcasts, and demands that Flawless come over to help Kaney's lane, Kaney ends up falling behind because they forced a shared XP, and Kaney gets a suboptimal recall. But instead, it's push city, like UCal's trying to give birth here in mid lane.
Did you just come up with that right now? Like, you just thought of that? Like,
I don't, I mean. Well, lightning speed
Yeah.
on these dogs.
Oh, man.
Little stories here.
Yeah. As, okay, trying to go for a bit of a gank here is Flawless, but it is Lucian. It was pushed up the wave, and again, this is, it looks like more of a, what do you used to call them, pranks?
Yeah.
Actually, that's a little bit different to this situation, right?
Yeah, Flawless is just trying to help Kaney shove in, and unfortunately, they share a lot of XP while doing this. Now, UCal, I think he wants to pull the wave back, but actually didn't leave the melee minion. Had he left the melee minion, it'd be a little bit better than just empty recalling right now, which is what he's doing. Flawless is going to stop his recall, come over, throw an undertow. And now this is going to cause UCal most likely to stay inside of the lane. And the reason that he's going to stay inside of the lane now after having his recall stopped is because it adds, you know, 7 seconds or so to the return to the lane, which lets Kaney get back into the lane, have control over it that he otherwise wouldn't have had, because every single second matters. And also, not allowing one of the melee minions to live is a bit of a blunder in regards to how durable the lane state would have been, allowing for the reinforcements to arrive, maintain that freeze, and allow UCal to come back to an ideal lane state. So, currently a little bit unfortunate for UCal. Had he been here right now, he would have reestablished priority already, and maybe this dragon doesn't end up getting taken right now the way that it does, but this is a big victory for APK. And Griffin, Sword is building a Glacial Shroud, and I'm not gonna fault him for it. His enemy is all AD. Okay. So you have two options: either Frozen Fist and Sunfire, or double Sunfire. But
into Thornmail, but we're not sure if that's allowed.
Double Sunfire, Thornmail with Frozen Heart, most likely.
Yeah. What about single Sunfire?
And,
something.
well, George has shown himself a little bit.
Just plodding around the jungle, poor George.
Go ahead, what were you saying?
Single Sunfire, is that not an option?
Yeah, one Sunfire and Frozen Fist.
Oh, right. Well, Frozen Fist first and then Sunfire. Well, here's this one-on-one. George says, I'm done with this. You can have my red. I am not fighting you, and I can't. Maybe if UCal can push and get some pressure going. Looks like he has forced Kaney back in here. As top lane, not feeling too good for the Ornn as expected.
And, okay, well. Ornn trying to get as much CS as he can. At the end of it, he's still going to be down a little bit. Flawless gets the red away from Tarzan, who's coming in here now. Oh, man. Well.
Okay. Well, they're going to try to turn onto him. He has exhaust in the mid lane as, used that culling early, but it does not matter. UCal with the moves. First blood, able to 2-on-1 onto Flawless before Kaney could even get in range.
And I like what UCal's doing right there. Well, it looks like he was trying to zone him out of the CS, but it was a really nice response by Tarzan and UCal, and I really like the ending, the Ace of Spades, Kiana ultimate.
Oh, yeah.
You'll see it in the replay, the nice little spade symbol.
Oh, okay.
Straight up.
I was wondering what you were talking about.
This is a bad first date.
Well, it's, I mean, I feel like it had to eventually bite Flawless back because he was just super deep in there with Lucian right next to him.
Why is Sword building Abyssal Mask first? Well,
I don't know.
I don't know either. Now, this really excites me when an Olaf tries to kill someone and then dies. And he ends up dying right there. And the replay cut out.
We didn't get to see the ace.
We did not get to see the ace of spades.
Too bad. Well, maybe we can check out the replay later. Oh, not gonna use his tongue effectively there. Flawless now not to be stopped is going to say, okay, we're going for the Rift Herald, or he's thinking about it. He's still up there getting to work on Shelly. And he says, yeah, I mean, there's not much that Tarzan can do. Tarzan, though, hits level 6. See if he wants to do anything, but the pressure in the top side plus Secret coming down. I think you just got to let this one go, buddy. And that he will.
So APK, they're going to get this again, and again, this is all assumed that this can end up happening due to the dynamics of top and bot lane. And yes, you have the Lucian in mid, which can do a lot of stuff on his own, but you know about the Gragas and the Olaf matchup in a vacuum. Couple that with the top and bot lane dynamics, and stuff like this is going to end up happening unless Lucian gets grossly overfed in the first 10 minutes or something, to the point where he's perma-wave clearing, always finding Olaf.
Looks like they really wanted to clear the wave quickly. Viper and Iroh trying to force a fight afterwards. Doesn't quite work out with the Tahm Kench. And UCal for now, I mean, he is ahead, and he is permanently pushing, it looks like.
And the reason for Hybrid using the ultimate right there is they want to get the guaranteed reset off before the Infernal Dragon. And so if they get locked into the wave, they don't get that off. And now Viper and Iroh, it looks like they're going to be the ones that have the delayed reset. So they did get to stay in the lane a little bit longer, but now their reset isn't as ideal, and they get 2 long swords and a cloth armor. Now, they have the Abyssal Voyage, and this is Build-A-Bear Workshop on sword over here. I don't I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, at first we were scratching our heads at the Abyssal Mask.
He can just go, so if you need mana, you just go Frozen Fist.
Maybe he reconsidered his purchase after you called him out.
I think,
It's like, oh, actually, yeah, Ellis is right. I shouldn't go for Abyssal Mask. Okay. Bomby Cinder next. And
Just
APK...
wait till the next item.
Yeah.
It's going to be the book.
Oh, boy.
All right, Iroh approaching this really slow. Oh, the tongue miss.
It's okay, though. Looks like they were able to read this pretty well. Ragnarok going to be forced here onto the Olaf. And now he will not have that for any Infernal fight if it does actually happen. Doesn't look like Griffin are going right to that Infernal Drake just yet, but with the pressure they have in bot, now that Secret has left, plus the pressure push in mid from Lucian.
Yeah.
Means that Griffin are now in a great spot to collapse here onto Infernal, and that they will. APK going to be forced to back away, clear some waves. Vision will be regained here by Griffin over the Drake. Infernal seems to definitely be one he wants to deny away from APK if possible.
Absolutely. As APK's gonna need all the resources they can get in the later stages of the game, because right now, Griffin, they're ahead in gold, and a lot of that is coming from bot and mid lane. Now, the mid lane is understandable. The bot lane, not as much understandable, and you gotta give credit to Viper and Iroh there for managing to outlane APK pretty much straight up as the Ornhorn comes in, trying to delay as much as possible. Orn Ultimate does not actually clear out the waves, and so...
Nope.
Now Griffin, they pick up the Infernal Dragon.
Yeah.
And relative to how APK is likely going to itemize, the Infernal Drake is probably going to outweigh the Mountain Drake in the later stages of the game. So now we have Cloud, and that's not very exciting.
No, it's not. It's yeah, it's not going to do all too much in this game. I suppose there are some nice ultimates on both sides, but generally not as effective as some of the other Dragon Souls. And, I mean, I like at least what Flawless did. He said, okay, we kind of lost control over the Infernal. Let me get something out of it. He elects to go up top and push the Ixu lane with the Alawi. It's kind of interesting. Ixu was having a good lane when the turret was there, but I suppose when the turret's gone, he could potentially put on more pressure in a side lane against Ornn.
Well, because Owen has the Bomby, he's not able to freeze.
Yeah.
And so, probably just going to have Ping Pong now unfolding.
He's making Oblivion Orb next with that Ruby crystal.
Oh my god.
Imagine.
There's actually a stretcher right outside. I don't know if you've seen it when you walked in.
No, I didn't.
I would just faint. They'd have to,
Yeah.
they'd have to bring that in here.
I just throw you over the side and like right onto the stretcher out the door.
Oh man. Sorkpen Boots picked up by Tarzan in this game, by the way. So if he picks up the Oblivion Orb, he's going to have near true damage on a lot of these targets, but they are getting some magic resistance bolstered by the Mountain Drake, even though there's really no incentive to get magic resist until way later stages of the game. And turret plates, you can see 5 up in top lane and 5 on the side of Griffin, but they ended up missing.
Yeah, I wonder which one. Probably bottom side,
I'm assuming. Yeah, I'm assuming that it would be bottom side. So.
Or it is possible that when he was pushing mid and went towards the Drake, maybe the minions killed one of the plates, and he went on in there.
And now this is just going to be a defensive turtle. Shirley coming up. Now, Shirley isn't that valuable. I feel like a lot of people get noob trapped into this, but it looks like Griffin might be considering a fight. They really shouldn't, though. This is an exact time where APK would really like to fight, especially in narrow, condensed areas. That's going to allow the Alawi to do so much. Sword has to be really careful with casting his ultimate because of the Kiana.
Yeah. I do like the way they're handling it, though. You know, you said they don't necessarily have to fight, but they were kind of shadowing them, seeing what objectives they could get, how much health they could tip away, but they never committed. Like, they easily could have Ornn ultimated and, you know, suicided in 5v5, but they didn't do that. Instead, they kept calm, and now they push mid as Devour's going to be there. Really nice cask, actually. Going to separate all 3 of the members. As Tarzan, he has turned back into the king of the jungle. Ixu, I don't know, he's George for now. He's sitting in the jungle by himself. Not sure if they saw that ward go down.
I think he's going to try to do this.
Yeah, he's going to try, but Exhaust has come out. Remember, UCal has that in the mid lane, and so Ixu is going to be forced to flash away.
UCal's going to have to keep running because of those tentacles. Tom taking a little bit of a lick of Olaf, says, you know what? That doesn't taste very good.
No.
Yeah. Look at that majestic catfish, honestly. Look at him, top left. Don't pay attention to these two. All right, he's gone. We can pay attention to these two now. Yeah. So Viper is about to die.
Yeah, well, it does look like
now,
that. Pigs are going down, though. Abyssal Voyage.
Try to outplay this, but...
Abyssal Voyage not going to be used, it looks like. Ooh, nearly.
Oh,
the flash lick! It's not in range! Your tongue is just not long enough. Irove feeling pretty bad about his tongue length.
That is some...
Kaney able to get away. Picks up the kill, too.
Some excellent choice of words there, Valdez, if I do say so myself.
Yes.
So let's take a look at this. Kaney comes over. True display of talent, gets eaten up by the Tom.
Look at that cast.
Yeah, I mean, Tarzan has arrived today. This is not George. And that's the mid-tier 1 turret just getting raised. As we take a look at this outplay, Viper trying to outplay it onto Kaney. Maybe had he held the Q for the Kiana, depending on how he weaves it all in, it could end up being a little bit different, but obviously it's a little too late.
Ooh, Ornn coming in down here.
Yeah,
He
from
doesn't have his ult quite yet. He needs like 2 seconds. Okay, he's got it. Will they go for a fight this time around? Oh, it's going to be blocked. There's that Braum pickup. Another really nice cask is going to separate Ixu from the whole team. They're at least able to pick up 1 kill off of the back of that, and it goes to the Lucian. So the gold is really effective in their team. And, you know, it's just a bit here and a bit there, but at the end of the day, as we said, if Griffin can sail smoothly into the mid-game, their comp is going to be ahead. And you could certainly feel it right now on the map, as they're even ahead on golds in this one.
So right now, Ornn gonna get another big chunk of gold. Right? Wait, I think he just backed up out of the proximity gold. I'm not.
I think he's in range.
What? Maybe. Yeah, perhaps he was. Take a look at this. In Sword, he was honestly going for a Thanos snap, but ended up being denied by Secret. And yeah, Tarzan's here today. George, nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
All right, this is like Clark Kent and Superman. I don't really know.
George is on the bench.
Yeah, George is.
He's watching from the team house.
Yeah.
He didn't come today. Today is Tarzan's turn to play in the jungle. Honestly, I don't know why they play that guy, George.
Yeah, George
Should honestly just bench him until he gets a bit better.
He'd be lucky if he saw the day in third leagues.
Yeah. George certainly having some trouble, but Tarzan no trouble at all on the Gragas. Smooth sailing in the jungle, knew exactly how to play it, avoided flawless at all costs until it was a 2-on-1. And now he's probably got more gold than the Olaf does.
Yeah. UCal up there just trying to shove in top lane. Probably knows Kiana's eventually going to be hovering. Viper just picking up the red buff. No big deal. Shirley down here. And that looks like a bit of a mating ritual with the Alawi spirit. I'm not quite sure what kind of sacrifice to what god this is, but
Ooh,
Iroh. Now you want to talk about a mating ritual.
Oh.
That almost looked like one.
Timothy, he knows
Yeah.
knows what he's doing. He has a lot of experience with that tongue. As, okay, UCal gonna get 2-on-1s here, and actually the kill will go to the Olaf, as now he will just be able to back out of that one. Flawless flashing away, and no way to collapse on there, so just kind of an isolated kill as the game does continue.
And Flawless, ooh. I think that,
yeah.
I think, yeah,
Tarzan got it.
It's not George.
No, he's, again, George didn't come today. They're playing Tarzan.
George did not come. You know, I never saw the new Tarzan movie, actually. As UCal, that's very rude.
What if, like, the director of that film is a League of Legends fan and he's, like, watching?
No,
That would feel bad.
I actually want to point out, by the way, that the kill on Lucian, it is notable, but Flawless having his flashdown for the next major neutral, they could lose the fight. Even though they get the gold, you have to view it from the angle of what aside from the gold was gained. And so Flawless not having his flash, I think is actually more impactful than the amount of gold that he did just gain, all things considered.
Kiana as well.
Yeah, Kiana as well. So it's very strange, and I know it's even probably more weird for viewers that they think, well, doesn't this team need to keep accelerating and trying to find leads? And yes, but they also don't want to be losing at critical points inside of the game, as Kaney might have him here again.
Oh, that he does. Another great cast, but it's not going to save him this time. As, well, the whole squad is coming on in here. No, George, again, he's not here, and Flawless will get away, but again, that was basically just support from Griffin all coming up. APK say, okay, if you're going to send 4 people top, we will push the mid lane. And finally, APK have gained a tiny advantage in gold after picking up that turret.
They got a, well, now it got brought right back over to Griffin. And the other thing about this is they just got the flash out of Kaney as well. And the reason that I'm talking about these summoner spells is because APK has a much heavier reliance on having summoner spells for teamfights. They're so much more important for APK to be able to reposition as well as just dog down the carries on the side of Griffin. And if you don't have those options available, Griffin, they have so much repositioning inside of their kit and displacement through their abilities. It's very easy for them to conduct everything. And Flawless now running away in that replay. Another Cloud Dragon is up, and this isn't the end of the world even if they don't end up getting it. Now, I'm curious as well if Sword has given over any upgrades. I don't think that he has.
I don't know, we'll have to take a look at the items after this Cloud Drake. Observer Jonas Strong has got him down for now. But no fight comes in as APK saying, nope, we're not going to go for it. And I don't see any upgrades there, LS.
And Orange 15, it's not like he just leveled up. So, Zanya's Hourglass is going to be the upgrade for Gragas.
Yeah.
Might of the Ruin King is going to be the upgrade for Lucian, and I'm unsure what direction Senna is going to end up going. We still have yet to see. But now Zanya's is purchased. So if you're Senna in this game and the opponent has the armor the way that they do, I think just, even though you have, well, I suppose getting Yumu's Wraithblade would be better than Infinity Edge in this game, in this spot. You already have the Duskblade of Drakthar. You could just get that for yourself. Very doubtful that Lucian would want to hold all the way off until third item, Infinity Edge, to have that upgraded. I think Bork is a much better item to be gifted by Ornn, as gold is dead even, but remember, team comps are not dead even.
Yeah, it's something that gold can't quite measure, is where exactly the teams lie, as the Flashes, you were talking about them, they start up the Baron, saying, hey, all of our Flashes are down, including hybrids. Why don't we try for this? Looks like they wanted to sneak it, but it was spotted out, and immediately, smartly, APK say, nuh-uh, we cannot afford to get caught here.
One Ornn item was purchased, but Sword has 3 inside of him right now. I think he's going to go build Lucian right now. They just walked right by each other. Just sailed right past him. All right, hold on. Look at the minimap. Okay, hold on.
Down.
Hold on. That's the... Build it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, he is. He must be.
Beautiful.
There you go. Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Ornn.
He heard you. He's like, oh, yes. Oh, right. That's right, Ellis. I forgot.
A little bit of a golf clap. We're going to need to check the white noise on those headsets or something. I don't really...
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on here. Is Sir Thomas probably wants to just build Redemption as his ornament item.
Yeah, would be interesting to see if he does go for that. Sword not feeling the effect of the Alawi in the side lane as much anymore. And here we go. They're just going to go for an engage a bit. UCal leading the charge, flashing on in. Going to have a bit of help from Viper as 3-on-3. APK is just getting shredded in that fight. As both UCal and Viper, husband and wife, working together, feeling really good about themselves. Not sure exactly why APK took the fight, but UCal was ready and able to handshake that one.
Yeah. And right now, it's just such a gross imbalance. To try to put it into perspective of how far APK is probably down right now, I would liken it to something like a 10 or a 12,000 gold deficit. All things considered. Ornaments combined with team composition is just so insanely valuable. And right here, Hybrid, Lucian, like you said, husband and wife, able to easily handle these things. And that's one of my favorite sites in the league. Right there.
Olaf flashing away.
Running away, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's basically all he does. So I guess you get to see your favorite site very often. Well, he really did not get to do much, to be honest, in that fight.
And so far now, Cloud Dragon, another one coming up in about a minute. Ornn, Ronduin's Omen was the next item, and I think now he's going into Thornmail.
He really did just build that Catalyst for
which is
health and mana.
Realistically, you should just go Frozen Fist.
Oh, boy.
Or Frozen Heart.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I suppose if you're only talking about mana, maybe he really just wanted some extra health. But I'm not sure why you absolutely need that. Maybe he felt the pressure in the lane.
It's also not every day in competitive that you go up against all AD.
Yeah, true. As
so
we
could
do
just
have
be a lapse of judgment, yeah.
Bit of fighting here. Griffin say, no, you're not just going to do this for free. APK
Alawi.
can return to it.
Ornn needs to be backed up. There's no reason for Sword to be positioning this close to his team.
They're just chipping away at them. Look at that cast. Flawless solo is going to get a bit of a heal, but he has to back away. Ixu getting on in there. Kaney, though, not really able to do much. As in goes Sword all alone, finally going to cast that ultimate. Big Devour is going to save him at the last spot, but look at Kaney. He's on the loose as, well, Sword's just going to put him in the grave. UCal and Viper look to be zoned out a bit here, but again, remember the range advantage that they have. Just trying to kite them down the entire time.
Husband, wife, and their catfish. It's a bit of a story. This is their son Tim. Santa brought it back from the Shadow Isles. Lucian's like, what is that?
It's like a fantasy sitcom or something.
Oh man. So we take a look at this team fight, and Ornn is just actually too far up. He tries to go in for the E, but the E doesn't really grant that much value. Ornn losing all of his purpose inside of this fight. And remember, Tarzan gets blown up and eviscerated by Caney on the left-hand side. So an extremely disjointed team fight by Griffin. And this is very much like some of the series that they've lost in LCK so far this season. They've been so far ahead with the better team comps and just completely blunder the team fights and the coordination. And it does not look like Sword understands where he should be standing with Ornn in that team fight. He should be further back, waiting for the enemy to commit in and then get the good angles on the Ornn ultimate. As well as just delaying his R usage in the team fight, waiting until Braum casts his...
Yeah, I think he did that in this one.
He was trying to,
he was so far forward that the angle was like, well, do I go back and try to hit Caney, or like, do I just hit this Braum in front of me? Like, as you were saying, the angle was a bit awkward.
And it does look like actually Viper will build Infinity Edge as his next item. Yeah, and now Molten Edge able to be upgraded. Sword, get on over there. I think he's built.
Look at him.
I think he's finding her.
Yeah, look at him. Get over here.
Here comes FedEx. Here comes FedEx.
He's really trying to get over there really fast. Charged into the wall, bonked his head.
Great.
There you go, Molten Edge complete.
Yeah, and it does look like Redemption is going to be the Tom Kench item.
Yeah.
That eventually will be picked up. Oh,
well,
that
Viper,
was a lot of damage.
I don't know about that one. He got doubled up, taken down nearly, as now Sword is engaging. Gotta be real careful, he's so far ahead as the Senna ultimate does a lot of damage, but this is such a broken up team fight that Griffin can't really take, although another huge cast from Not George is going to get the Alawi into the team. Man, I love Not George. Showing up today, big time cast, is able to make what looks like a horrendous team fight into something okay.
Yeah. It's T not G.
Yes.
Showing up today.
T-not-G.
Oh man. Well, Lucian looks like he's probably pretty close. Did he sell his Blade of the Ruin King?
No.
No, I think he refunded it. And I think he lost his Might of the Ruin King. But anyways, in this replay here, Ornn, again, just playing really far up. Sword does not seem to, again, this is 3 times now he's done this in team fight. Loses all of his HP.
Oh, the cast.
And the cast from Tarzan ends up saving this fight.
Yeah. This time, I don't blame Sword as much, just because I feel like it was Viper sort of baiting him into it. Like, Sword went in after Viper got chunked out, and yes, he should have backed away. But after he was kind of like, oh, I got a front line for my AD carry that's taking a ton of damage for no reason, that's when he got into that bad spot, and when he got, you know, as we were saying, if you're that far forward, you're just going to get dunked on as the Ornn. So hopefully, I just feel like these fights from Griffin are really disjointed. Like, people are hesitating. Nobody knows if they want to go in. Sword's going full speed ahead, full steam ahead, whereas the rest of the team is kind of waiting to kite them. They're not really all playing on the same wavelength right now.
Oblivion Orb picked up by Gragas. Very late, but still will have value against some members on APK, I believe. Hopefully, one of the observers clicks on one of the APK champions, and we can end up seeing. I do think that Alawi is over 100 magic resist, so obviously Oblivion Orb not going to be super valuable against her.
850 range right now for the Senna.
And we're just waiting to see what is going to end up happening here. Ornn taking out the tentacles.
Especially now that the game has gone so late, like, look at what Senna can do. Just don't be so far ahead and full hard engage. Just kite them, poke them down, and Viper don't walk right at the Alawi, for God's sake.
They keep doing this over and over, and it really is the definition of insanity. Sword is up here in the front again. Kaney gonna try to come around with Flawless and look for some sort of a flank. Ixu.
It's all about this Drake right now.
Now, Senna's almost level 16, and that actually probably is worth trying to get to before the team fight. You can see Kaney trying to be in the mist. APK's team composition has been reduced to guerrilla warfare now.
Oh, the big-time play from Tarzan. Saw him coming in, and is going to cast the Olaf, force that Ragnarok to come out, and just with one fell swoop, Tarzan, the king of the jungle, he's back, is going to get that play and make that Qiyana obsolete. Now the next Drake in 5 minutes will be the decider on who that gets that soul. But after picking off Qiyana, Griffin want to go to Baron.
Oh, man.
Man, I love Not George.
Yeah, I love Not.
It's awesome when he comes in and starts playing for this team. 1-1-7, but that really doesn't tell the story of this game. He's been the one consistent mainstay of this game one for Griffin.
So I believe it was Atlas that told me that when you're 007, that's the right to kill or something.
No,
right?
I think he said that all of the 00s have
that's
the right
why
to kill.
Tarzan's 1-1. He's already killing. You know what I mean? Comes in here.
He's gone beyond
tells
the
Senna,
right to kill.
Thanks for the Aurora Lights, as he just completely blew up Qiyana.
Yeah.
Without any aid.
It was a control ward, so I think Kaney needed 2 hits with his, what's that new item? The Wraith's Blade?
Umbral.
Oh, that's the other one.
The Umbral, the, Umbral Glaive, I believe. Umbral.
Yeah, because one
of these is Nocturne's passive.
It is one of the, no, okay. Umbral Blades is Nocturne's passive, and Umbral Blade is the item. I'm saying that very confidently because I think I know.
Umbral Glaive
is the item, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
a
caster coach, content creator. You know?
Oh, man.
Jeez. Oh, no, the Fabled Book.
Oh, he's getting
close.
close.
Now, Alawi does have insane amounts of healing, but Leandri's would just do...
Is that the way you feel?
It would just do so much more. Leandri's Torment would just do so much against these champions that are stacking HP. The Madness passive against the targets that don't have magic resistance would be insane. 10% increased damage to every Q, W, E, and R for his Gragas. That, plus the AP from the item itself, is insanity in terms of damage. Plus, the 7.5% max HP burn. It's just so good.
Ixu getting engaged upon, but who's stuck in here with who? They're trying to burst him down, but they can't quite do it. Not even Viper's Snipe is going to be able to do it, but now Kaney and Secret in the front as Ixu is forced to run away. Means that they don't have much, and, well, Olaf and MF didn't even see the action as they were not there on time. And, well, we all know what Olaf does, as the push is coming on into the mid lane now after picking off Braum. Flawless still waiting in the wings here. Sword a little bit low, but do they really want to try to come on in here and go for the 4v5? Griffin might just force them to do so. See, they are pushing in now. Looks like they do not want to stop. Here comes the Olaf from behind. They're trying to clear the minion wave, as no damage is really coming out here. They're just kind of trying to zone them with the Alawi for now. Slow them down. Sword thinking about returning into that one. Viper, a big slow onto him. Yeah, he's got to run away now. That slow is massive, and here comes Olaf. Tarzan.
Left-hand side. Doesn't have ult yet.
Yeah, not quite ready for it. It just comes up now, but it's too late.
Oh, Kaney still looking on the left-hand side. This could be the sandwich. And no, not actually going to persist on and go for it. This is very dicey.
Yeah.
If you're a Griffin fan, APK has has minions.
It's blocked.
Okay, it's no longer going to be dicey. Super minions coming up mid. And the reason that I'm saying that it's dicey is at 40 minutes, a clean ace for APK with minions in close proximity would result in the end of the game.
Yeah, it would. Oh, sword. Oh, boy. No ultimate. Stilly is going to be able to frontline here. Flawless fights Tarzan, who is just really on a knife's edge. Both teams just going back and forth. Griffin still seeming to have the upper hand. Oh, he's going to find Kaney. Tarzan has been all over Kaney this entire late game. He's going to find him again, and down he will go. When they were fighting in mid, he curved all the way around into his blue side jungle just to find Kaney.
And now it should be a pretty easy Baron capture.
Okay, Exhaust's going to come down here. UCal forcing them to fight. In goes Sword. They should be able to get Secret here. And with that, it looks like they're not even going to wait for Baron or Dragon Soul. They're just going to look to push to end.
And I think that's probably all that she wrote. MF does have bullet time. He's going to come out and try to cast it.
Looking to try to interrupt it. No or rather Braum this time around. The wave has been cleared. Bullet time still available. Good for Ragnarok to keep him alive. They're just tanking this turret. Finally, the bullet time comes out.
And they lost the minions, so again, disjointed is Griffin. As I think they're going to Cloud Dragon. You know what? We were so clean up until this point, Valdez. Well, not entirely, but
the Dragon Soul is really nice. You become fast.
You're serious?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
They become fast. Remember?
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, 10%, I think.
Excellent. APK now going for a counter Baron, and this is really it. This is desperation. The super minion in mid can end, by the way. So even if they just dance long enough, APK will lose to the super minion.
Oh,
one Nexus. Yeah, hybrid.
Yeah, he doesn't exist in this game, in the late game for now. Kaney, once again, targeted here by Tarzan. UCal, though, is kind of being bullied by a couple of tanks, but it's not enough. Yeah, Olaf not able to do enough. And now with the Cloud Soul, they're able to get that ultimate back. TP's come in, and now will be the end of the game. As a pretty obvious MVP for me. I don't know how you feel about this one.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what the other people that vote think, because I cannot predict what the other people think. As GG is going to come in, game one will be Griffin's. As it takes a little bit longer than Gen G against Nom1. It took about 42 minutes, but they got there eventually with their later game scaling composition. Some bumps in the road. It wasn't perfect, but they got the win in the end.
Yeah, and they ended up scaling. Now, there was a lot of sloppy teamwork in regards to the way that they were utilizing Ornn inside of those team fights. Tarzan was single-handedly saving so many team fights on his own. And Viper with some really beautiful Senna ultimates as well. And so, team composition plus some really good play out of really everyone on Griffin. It was just the way they were using Ornn inside of those fights was very off, and they did it 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
So
makes you wonder.
Yeah. It's one of those things that it can really be difficult to evaluate in the moment, and maybe it just hits you in hindsight. But it is a really peculiar way to think about Ornn, because you're not used to that whenever you're picking him in solo queue because of how chaotic it is.
Yeah. Gotta have that pro stage experience as well as scrim experience to figure that kind of stuff out. As not too happy now is Ixu. His Alawi, it won the lane against Ornn, but as we all know, that's
supposed to.
Yeah, that's not the end-all be-all. Wins the lane, of course, even gets some help from the Olaf to push it in. And at the end of the day, Senna did almost double of everybody in the game. Not quite double of MF and Alawi, but
you know what that means?
Double of everybody else.
It means Senna's MVP.
Yeah, you know, after seeing this chart, I think I want to revoke my not George vote, and I want to give it to Viper. That would be, yeah, after seeing this. obvious it was Sen. After getting caught like 8 times. But I mean, he did a lot of damage, so not bad. Used his ultimate pretty well. Yeah, he's made of light stone.
What?
Because you're not moving. You're in the light. Yeah. So Griffin
I'm actually
wins.
just CGI right now.
Yeah.
I'm actually still at my hood.
Well, we were. I forget who I was talking to, but we were actually thinking about what would happen if eventually commentators just got replaced by AIs with soundboards. Like especially play-by-plays. You never know. We'll be back with the LCK.